I was scrolling online when I came across a street interview video. The question was, what would you say to yourself from 5 years ago? In that clip, I saw Claire with her new boyfriend. Her voice was calm, even affectionate, as she said, "I'd tell the Claire from 5 years ago to meet Harry sooner." The guy beside her smirked and added, "Me too." People in the comments went crazy, calling them perfect together and sending blessings. No one knew that 5 years ago was my wedding day with Claire. Even she seemed to have forgotten until a week later. The same influencer posted another video, and this time, I was the one in it. Looking straight into the camera, I said, "If I could talk to my past self, I'd say, Leo, don't marry Claire. You'll regret it." Claire saw that video. Not long after, I called her to tell her I agreed to the divorce. But Harry answered instead. "Hello? I'm looking for Claire. She's in the shower. Whatever you want to say, you can tell me." His voice had that same cocky, fearless tone mixed with pride. The old me would have exploded, screamed at him, demanded to talk to Claire. But this time, I stayed calm. "She said she wants a divorce, right?" "I agree." There was silence. Then Harry repeated in disbelief, "You agree to a divorce?" "Yeah." I heard shuffling as he handed the phone over. Then Claire's cool voice came on. "It's me." I know. Hearing her after 6 months shook me. The last time we'd spoken, she'd said, "Leo, let's get a divorce. If you don't agree, I'll move out and file myself." And now, half a year later, I was giving in. "You want to divorce me?" she asked, sounding confused. I didn't bother arguing about who brought it up first. I just grunted. "If you have time, let's meet and sign the papers," she said. I hung up. It was the first time I'd ever hung up on her. Before, I was the one begging, cursing, calling nonstop, while she brushed me off with, "Stop acting like a lunatic. Talk when you've calmed down." Then she'd hang up and ignore me. I always lost. Control back then, to know why she betrayed me, begging her to come back, but none of it mattered. Claire never changed. Over time, I became exactly what she accused me of: paranoid, insecure, a lunatic. Months passed in a haze. Then, 3 days ago, I saw another time capsule interview. Same question: what would you say to yourself from 5 years ago? People gave simple answers: study harder, spend more time with family. And then, there she was, Claire, with Harry. At first, Claire looked annoyed, but Harry was excited. "This is cool, Claire. Let's do it," he said, tugging her arm until she gave in. The influencer asked the question. Harry hesitated, so Claire answered for him, "If I could. I'd want the Claire from 5 years ago to meet Harry sooner." She leaned on him as she spoke, her tone casual but affectionate. Harry looked at her, grinned smugly, and said, "Me too." The video already had thousands of likes. The comments were full of praise. "They're gorgeous. They're soulmates. So sweet. I hope they last forever." I just stared at the screen. Did Claire really love him that much? Had she completely forgotten that 5 years ago she had married me? Back then we were poor but happy. And now she was on camera saying she wished she had met Harry instead. I thought I'd be furious, smashing things, screaming like before. But instead, I just sat there, silent, motionless. The comments that should have hurt me just scrolled past my eyes like random lines of code. Then it felt like something inside me snapped loose and came undone. To my own surprise, I realized I didn't feel anything about Claire anymore. Obsession can hit in a second, but so can letting go. "That's what led to my call," Claire texted me. Among the sea of red exclamation marks from all my blocked messages, her new one stood out plain black and white. It looks like she unblocked me, I thought, with a bitter little smile. She told me to come to her office on Monday. Her lawyer would have the divorce papers ready. We'd go over them, sign, and wait out the mandatory cooling-off period. On Monday, I went to Claire's company. Since I didn't have an appointment, the receptionist had to call up. "Yes, a Mr. Palmer," she said. After hanging up, she told me to head to the executive floor, where a secretary would meet me. I thanked her and went up. A young woman I didn't recognize greeted me, probably a new hire. After all, I hadn't been there in the 6 months since Claire and I split. "Mr. Palmer, please wait here. Ms. Vance is in a meeting," she said politely. She didn't even know who I was. She just called me Mr. Palmer and led me to a waiting room. I used to wait in Claire's private office. Her meetings always took at least an hour, and she knew I hated waiting. She'd stock her office with books and movies for me. "Read or watch something. If you're tired, nap in the lounge," she'd say. But the last time I came, all my stuff in her office was gone. Someone else now had that access, and me. I was stuck in a generic waiting room like any other visitor. Still, I wasn't in the mood to argue about something so small. I sat quietly. I had time. I didn't expect 2 hours to pass with no one coming for me. "Excuse me, is Ms. Vance's meeting over yet?" I finally asked the young assistant. She hesitated. "Ms. Vance is still in a meeting." I frowned, about to say something, when laughter drifted down the hall. "Let's go to that new restaurant for lunch. Sounds good?" The voices were too familiar. I looked up and saw Claire walking beside Harry. He had a folder in his hand, face bright with confidence. Claire tilted her head toward him, smiling at whatever joke he'd cracked. The assistant froze as I stepped toward them. Claire, both of them turned. For a split second, surprise flashed across her face. I asked if her meeting was over because I'd been waiting 2 hours. She frowned back. "Who told you I was in a meeting?" I blinked at her, realizing she was genuinely confused. We figured it out at the same time. Claire's sharp gaze swept the office. Employees immediately dropped their eyes. The young woman who led me in shrank back, head bowed, though I caught her sneaking a quick glance at Harry. Of course. Only Harry had the guts to pull something like this. I forgot to tell them the meeting was canceled. "Sorry, Ms. Vance," Harry said, biting his lip with fake innocence. Claire, always soft on him, brushed it off. "Come in," she told me, ignoring the stunt, as I walked past Harry. I caught the pride in his eyes, the defiance. "Sit," Claire said, motioning to a chair, like I was any other guest. Her face unreadable, she pushed the divorce papers across the desk. "We've been together so many years. I won't be cheap. You can take the car or the house, your choice. If you want anything else, say it now. Was this supposed to be compensation?" The thought passed through my mind, but I didn't stop. The settlement she offered was enough for 10 lifetimes. She'd never been stingy about money. "This is fine. But I'll take the house I'm living in now," I said. I signed quickly, slid the papers back to her. Claire looked like she had more to say. Her lips parted, then closed again as her eyes lingered on the papers. She seemed shocked it had taken less than 5 minutes. I stood. "There's a 1-month waiting period. I'll contact you after." I turned to leave. "Leo." Her voice stopped me. "Don't you have anything you want to say to me?" Her brows drew together, disbelief in her eyes. I turned back, puzzled, but she was serious. I thought for a second, then said honestly at this point, "You don't expect me to wish you and Harry a lifetime of happiness, do you? I may have let go, but I'm not that generous." She fell silent, her gaze dark and unreadable. My hand was on the doorknob when she spoke again. "Leo, in the end, I wronged you. I'll keep paying for your mother's medical expenses." At the mention of my mom, I froze. If anyone didn't want this divorce, it was her. Claire and I had started out at 17. Back then, when we could barely afford food, she'd split 1 box of takeout with me and always gave me the meat. In the freezing winters, she rode a scooter to deliver orders, saving every coin. She never spent a dime on herself, but she bought me a ring. Just a plain band. She used to joke, "One day I'll trade it for a diamond-studded watch." We once lived in a tiny basement apartment, barely a few dozen square feet. No heat in the winter, so we clung to each other just to stay warm. In the summer, it got so hot Claire would drag me outside to sleep in the park. My mom saw all of it. She felt for me and sold everything she owned to help Claire start her business. When Claire finally made real money, she bought a big downtown condo with 24/7 air conditioning. In front of my mom, she promised she'd treat me well for the rest of her life. My mom cried, saying only you two have to be good to each other. Back then, I was full of hope. I thought we had a bright future, but in just a few years, everything fell apart. Claire cheated. My mom got cancer. Treatment cost tens of thousands a year. If it hadn't been for Claire's financial help, I would have lost her already. And now, Claire looked me in the eye and said, "You don't have to worry about it anymore." "Thanks," I replied, in a distant, polite tone, ending the meeting and walking out. As I left her office building, Harry's voice called behind me. "Mr. Palmer." He strolled up, tugging at his tie, smirking. "Thank you for letting us be together, for letting Claire go." His eyes shone with the pride of someone showing off a victory. "Don't mention it," I said faintly. "Just hope you don't end up like me." For a second, his smile faltered. Then he laughed it off. "How could I end up like you? You've seen how Claire feels about me." He was basking in his win, taunting me. I looked at him steadily. "Then I guess you've forgotten what I did that day. Need me to remind you?" Harry's face drained of color. He hadn't forgotten. That night, in blind rage, I'd stormed into a private room, ripped him out of Claire's arms and slapped him hard twice. Before anyone could react, I'd slammed him across a coffee table. "Is this funny?" I had roared, smashing a wine bottle, holding the jagged edge inches from his cheek. Harry had trembled, screaming in terror. No one dared move. Claire had thrown herself between us, trying to stop me. Harry had hidden behind her, pale and weak. "Claire, save me." Fury burned in Claire's eyes. She raised her hand to hit me, but froze when she saw the hatred in mine. "You don't have the guts to hit me, do you?" I spat, but I did. In that split second, I slapped her across the face with all my strength. My hand shook afterward. That was the beginning of the end. After that night, Claire asked for a divorce. She moved out and into Harry's place. Harry never provoked me again. He knew how far I could go. But he still glared at me with resentment. "We'll see how arrogant you are once Claire divorces you." "That's none of your business," I shot back, turning and leaving. Back home, I started packing. Even though I was keeping the house, I had no intention of staying. Everything inside reminded me of the years of pain. I listed it for sale immediately and started looking at flights. Claire had given me so much money, figured I'd spend it, travel, disappear, come back only when it was time to finalize the divorce, the day before leaving. I got a new message. "Hi, Mr. Palmer. This is the creator from Time Capsule. Your interview clip is scheduled to go live this Sunday at 7 p.m. Just confirming, you're okay with this?" I wasn't surprised. The day after I saw Claire and Harry's interview, I'd been stopped by the same influencer with the same question. At the time, it felt like some strange twist of fate. I didn't refuse. I even wondered if Claire saw it. How would she react? "No problem. Post it whenever," I replied. Then I zipped up my last bag and walked out. For the first time in 6 months, I felt free. When Claire first got the call from me, she thought it would be the usual rant, cursing, screaming. But this time, my voice was calm. "Claire, I agreed to the divorce," I told her. She frowned, confused. "What divorce?" Harry whispered a reminder in her ear. Only then did she recall the words she'd thrown at me 6 months ago, when she moved out. "Are you sure?" she asked. "Yeah, if you have time, let's meet up and sign the papers," and I hung up. Her doubts grew, but Harry hugged her from behind. "Did your husband really say yes? That's great now. No one will bother you anymore." He was more thrilled than she was. But unlike before, his excitement didn't spark anything in her. Instead, a heavy emptiness grew in her chest. Because the truth was, Claire had never really wanted to divorce me. She'd only said it to scare me. Why did he suddenly give in? Claire couldn't understand it. Then a thought hit her, was this just another one of Leo's tricks? He was the type to say anything just to get her back. Once, he even messaged her, claiming his mother was critically ill. And when she ignored it, she thought, the boy who cries wolf doesn't get a third chance, convinced Leo was trying something again. Claire decided to play along. Besides, it had been 6 months since they last saw each other. If he wanted to meet, she could use this as an excuse. She asked her lawyer to prepare the divorce papers and then tried to text Leo. That's when she, realized she had blocked him months ago. Their last chat was frozen in time from the day Leo had caught her with Harry. She couldn't even remember what exactly they were doing. Only Leo's furious screaming when he found them. She couldn't take it anymore and had walked out. But Leo hadn't stopped. He kept texting her long, ranting messages, acting like a complete maniac. One day, after reading half a message, she blocked him in frustration. Now, when she unblocked him to reach out, she worried he'd start again. But all he replied was a simple, "Okay." It felt strange. Almost unsettling. Could he really have changed? Twice in a row, Leo stayed calm. Instead of anger, Claire felt something bittersweet. If only he had always been like this. Not shouting, not fighting. After all, she and Leo had been through everything together. They had built their lives from nothing. Their bond should have been unbreakable. But Leo's jealousy and control had suffocated her. As their business grew, it was like he lost his mind, refusing to let any man near her. But she was a businesswoman now. Meetings, dinners, networking, it was part of her life. At first she avoided other men, but in time she realized they were all the same. She just wanted space to breathe, and then came Harry. She only chose him, no one else. But Leo couldn't let go. His obsession pushed her further away until she finally said the word divorce. If only Leo had just turned a blind eye. We wouldn't be here now, Claire told herself. Her memories with Leo still lingered, though. Sharing one box of takeout? Him pretending he wasn't hungry so she could eat more. That sweltering basement summer when he fanned her all night because it was too hot to sleep. The day he secretly sold the simple ring she'd given him just to buy a tiny electric fan. Those memories were too precious to erase. And she knew Leo couldn't have forgotten them either. That's why she believed this divorce meeting was just another scheme. There was no way he truly wanted to leave her. But on Monday, she realized she was wrong. When Leo called her name, she turned on. Her heart sank. 6 months apart, and he looked like a different man. His once soft face had become sharp, his jawline pronounced. His collarbones jutted out, his frame thinner, weaker. Has he even been eating? A pang of worry hit her before she could stop it, before she could ask. Leo said quietly that he had been waiting 2 hours for her meeting to finish. She hadn't been in any meeting. She knew instantly who told him that. She didn't blame Harry. She just wanted to study Leo's face again, despite everything the fights. The heartbreak Leo was still the man she loved most. Her love for Harry was shallow, built on lust and excitement. But her love for Leo, that was soul deep. We've been together for so many years, Leo said evenly. I won't ask for much. You can take the car or the house. If you have any other requests, say them now. As he read through the agreement, Claire's eyes never left him. She had offered him the chance to make requests, secretly hoping the only one he'd make would be not to divorce. But Leo only asked for the house they once lived in. That was it. In less than 5 minutes, the divorce was final. Claire's mind reeled. Impossible. He must have something else to say. He can't just walk away like this. She stared at him, waiting. But Leo said nothing. No last plea, no hidden trick. He signed, and he left. Was that really the end of them? She sat there, clutching the signed papers, refusing to hand them over to her lawyer. That night, Harry set up a candlelit dinner to celebrate. His grin stretched wide as he leaned across the table. Claire, so when are we getting married? He asked, excitement twinkling in his eyes. I'll wear the sharpest suit. The church has to be filled with flowers. She barely heard him. In the flickering candlelight, all she could think about was her wedding with Leo, back when they were broke, struggling. And he had nothing, not even the ring she once gave him. They had only spent a few dollars to get their marriage license. That night, full of excitement, they bought 2 beers and sat by the river, singing and drinking together. Claire remembered thinking, when I get rich, I'm going to give Leo a huge, lavish wedding. But that dream never happened. All they managed was a rushed photo shoot for wedding pictures, squeezed into one of her 30-minute work breaks. We'll see, Claire muttered suddenly, her voice flat as she cut Harry off mid-sentence. His smile froze, slowly fading as he stared at her, stunned. Feeling irritated, Claire called her best friend and asked her to meet for drinks. "Claire, why didn't you bring your boy toy?" Someone teased, confused. Since Leo was still around, all her friends jokingly called Harry her boy toy. Claire didn't want to answer, but then someone nudged her with a grin. "Claire, look at this. You and your boy toyer trending." Through her blurry vision, Claire saw a phone screen with her and Harry's faces on it. "Me," she thought, shocked. The video played. And she heard her own voice. I wish the Claire from 5 years ago had met Harry sooner. Her heart dropped. What the hell is this? 5 years ago was her wedding day with Leo. Back then, they were deeply in love. Why on earth would she ever have wanted to meet Harry? Then it clicked. She remembered. It was from a day she had taken Harry shopping, and they had run into a street interviewer. She'd only said it offhandedly without thinking. But now that video had over 100,000 likes and was trending at #1 locally. Her hands trembled. If it's trending, wouldn't Leo see it? No, she couldn't let that happen. He would be furious. "Who posted this?" she demanded, her voice sharp. "Tell them to take it down now." Her shout startled everyone. The person holding the phone fumbled, quickly opening the influencer's profile, but then their face froze. Claire. He posted another one. The voice was hesitant, almost fearful. On the screen was another video, this time of Leo. "I only found out my video went viral after I got back," Leo's voice explained. "The time capsule creator messaged me saying he never expected it to blow up like this. He thanked me and asked for another interview." I didn't reply. But I opened my phone and saw it everywhere, even reposted by clickbait accounts. One headline read, "Karma comes for cheaters." Oh my God, it's happening again. The account's dramatic narrator retold the story, last Sunday at 7 p.m. The influencer time capsule uploaded a street interview. He stopped a passerby and asked, "Sir, if you could talk to yourself from 5 years ago, what would you say?" The man looked straight at the camera and answered flatly, "If I could, I'd tell my past self, Leo, don't marry Claire. You'll regret it." The video exploded online, sparking massive debates. Claire. Why does that name sound so familiar? I know, right? Haven't we heard it before? Wait, wasn't the woman from the last interview named Claire too? It didn't take long for internet sleuths to connect the dots. Once it was confirmed that the Claire Leo mentioned was the same woman who wished she'd met Harry 5 years earlier, the internet went wild. Holy crap, it's the same couple. This is so messy. I thought they were some pure love story, but she's just a cheating snake. Met him sooner? How about you go die sooner? Did you even think about your husband when you said that? Poor guy. He's the real victim here. Claire's video was now drowning in hateful comments and insults. As for Leo, while the backlash wasn't as intense, his phone blew up with messages and calls. Some people wanted front row seats to the drama. Others were mutual friends of his and Claire's. He ignored them all. The only thing that truly surprised him was this. Out of all the messages, not a single one came from Claire. Strange. He had just publicly blindsided her, and yet she hadn't reacted. It baffled him until his phone rang. "Mr. Palmer," his real estate agent said, "we've run into a problem with the sale of your house. Could you come back to handle it?" Confused, Leo booked a flight back. When he arrived, the agent looked relieved, almost like he'd just been saved. "Mr. Palmer, you're finally here. It's your wife. She heard you were selling the house, and she refuses to let it happen." Leo couldn't help but laugh. "So that's why she's been so quiet." "She was waiting here for me. I'll handle it," he said, sending the agent away. Then he tried calling Claire. It's no answer. So he went straight to her company. This time, the receptionist didn't even question him, just waved him upstairs. The young assistant, who once glared at him now, bowed respectfully and guided him to Claire's office. "Ms. Vance is waiting for you inside." Leo's eyes drifted past her, straight to Harry standing in the corner. Harry, who once sat closest to Claire's office, now seemed pushed aside. His expression was twisted with fury and resentment, eyes burning holes into Leo. Leo ignored him and walked to the door. When he stepped inside, he froze for a second. The office looked different, stripped of Harry's presence. It was just like it had been in the very beginning. behind the massive desk, framed by the floor-to-ceiling windows, Claire sat alone. Her slender figure seemed tired, defeated, worn down. Of course, her company's stock had dropped several points thanks to the scandal. Stress clung to her. But that wasn't Leo's problem. If I remember correctly, "You agreed to give me this house," Leo said, cutting straight to the point. At the sound of his voice, Claire looked up. Her gaze was deep, almost searching. "Leo," she asked quietly, "what did you mean by regret?" I quickly understood what she meant. She was talking about what I'd said in that video. When the interviewer asked me what I would tell my younger self, I answered, "Leo, don't marry Claire. You'll regret it." 5 years ago, when we got our marriage license, Claire had asked me through tears, "Leo, you've suffered so much marrying me. Do you regret it?" My answer back then was simple: never. And now Claire wanted to know what my words meant. "You don't understand?" I asked, my voice calm but sharp. I couldn't help but find it ridiculous, the mockery on my face stinging her. Her complexion went pale as she stood up, each step toward me heavy. It's almost painful. But I never regretted it, Leo. I never regretted marrying you. How could you regret it? You always said you never would. Her eyes were red, just like they'd been that day 5 years ago. But this time I wasn't going to soften. You said it yourself. That was the past. People change, don't they? That's the lesson you taught me. Now that it's coming back to you, why can't you accept it? She looked at me, eyes filled with hurt, searching my face for something. Finding nothing, she lowered her gaze and asked again, her voice trembling, "Leo, you're saying all this because you're still angry, right? You still have feelings for me. That's why you're saying these things. You still love me, don't you?" She asked me twice, her pleading eyes watching my every move. But I stayed calm. Her questions only made me frown. "Love. What's that? We already signed divorce papers. What love could possibly be left?" "Yes, I loved you once. But didn't you throw that away yourself?" My eyes were cold with scorn. "I didn't, Leo. I didn't. I love you. Saying I wanted a divorce, that was just anger. I never meant it." She cried, suddenly wrapping her arms around me in a desperate hug, repeating the words again and again. But I didn't respond. After all, ever since Harry, I couldn't even remember the last time we hugged. When she finally let go, she saw only my cold, indifferent face. Panic spread across hers. Her hands trembled as they gripped my shoulders, slick with sweat. "Leo, you can't divorce me. If you dare, you won't get a single penny. And your mother I won't give the hospital another cent. She'll die." Her words were meant to be fierce, but her voice trembled with panic. I met her gaze calmly. "Claire, you didn't know? My mother already passed away." Her eyes widened. "During our separation, I messaged you. You blocked me before I could even finish. Your threats mean nothing to me. If I cared about money, I never would have been with you when you had nothing." Bitterness tightened my chest. She had forgotten everything, our love, and even how my mother treated her like her own daughter. She hadn't just wronged me. She had wronged my mother too. The office fell silent. Claire's pale face turned ashen, her eyes frozen in shock and disbelief. "How? How could that be?" She whispered. "You haven't seen her in 2 years. Of course, you wouldn't know. Poor Mom. She was still calling my name when she passed, and I had to lie to her, telling her you were busy with work and would come soon." I swallowed hard, remembering that day. My mother's death wasn't sudden, she'd simply run out of time. I was the one who signed the papers to stop treatment. I held her hand and watched her slip into a peaceful sleep she never woke from. I arranged everything alone, quietly. And afterward, I saw that video of you and Harry. The truth? I'd wanted to divorce you long ago. I couldn't stand watching myself become a madman in a toxic marriage. My mother's death was the final straw. Oh, Claire, I thought bitterly. How could you ever understand? From the moment you made your mistake and refused to turn back, our time together was already counting down. Claire swayed, nearly collapsing. I looked at her one last time and said, "If you have any conscience left, let me go. Being with you now every minute, every second, is suffocating. With that, I left her office. The atmosphere was heavy, pressing out into the hallway. Outside, everyone stood stiff, holding their breath, wishing they could vanish. Only Harry dared to make a sound. He stormed after me, furious. "Leo, you bastard. Are you happy now? What good does it do, destroying Claire like this?" His voice was just noise to me. Smack. I slapped him across the face. "You idiot. If you had any real ability, you would have gotten her to divorce me earlier. Then she wouldn't be branded a cheater and a terrible person." Harry clutched his face, shocked. "And another thing, show me some respect when you speak to me. I'm still Claire's husband. Be careful, or I'll have her take back every penny she spent on you. She would never," he shouted. "Given the situation, do you really want to test that theory?" I sneered. I was always good at driving people mad without giving them an inch. Harry could only glare, speechless, as I walked away. Without Claire interfering, my house sold quickly. Coincidentally, or maybe not, the sale closed the same day the divorce waiting period ended. I'd expected Claire to pull some trick to stop the divorce. But to my surprise, she showed up at the municipal office. And just like that, we walked out with our divorce certificates. Right after signing the sales contract for the house, I felt lighter. 2 major things were finally settled, and for the first time in a while, my mood lifted. But not long after I left, my phone rang. It was the agent. "Mr. Palmer, this might be unprofessional, but I think I should tell you something." "What is it?" I asked. Your ex-wife showed up right after you left. She begged the new owner to sell the house back to her. He refused, and now she's harassing him." Annoyed, I drove back. When I arrived, the new owner was already gone. The agent sighed. "You're too late, Mr. Palmer. Your ex-wife offered triple the price to buy it back." I shrugged. The house wasn't mine anymore. If one was willing to sell and the other willing to pay, that was none of my business. But then I noticed something. Claire had just snatched something out of a cleaner's hands. It was our wedding portrait, Claire. I called out, her eyes lit up. "Leo, look, I bought the house back. And I'll find all our old things." She held the portrait eagerly, smiling with desperate hope. Before she could finish, I dragged my car key across the photo. Scrape. My half of the picture was gone. Claire froze, her eyes widening in shock, her face going pale. Tears welled up instantly and streamed down her cheeks as she stared at me in disbelief and pain. My expression stayed cold. In the reflection of the villa's window, I suddenly felt a wave of déjà vu. Of course, it was familiar. Once upon a time, I had been the one begging Claire to come back. But now, what goes around comes around. Karma doesn't miss. Don't flatter yourself, Claire, I said flatly. This act of yours just disgusts me. Can't you leave me alone? After that day, my life finally began to return to normal. It was lonely being on my own. But pulling myself out of the past was like watching heavy clouds part and reveal a clear sky. Every day felt brighter. A week later, I saw Claire one last time at a bar. Since the divorce, she had been drinking constantly. Our mutual friends called and texted me, urging me to get back together with her. I blocked every single one. Finally, I had peace. That night, Claire was drinking again when Harry showed up. "Claire," he cried, rushing to steady her as she swayed. "I've been looking everywhere for you. Where have you been?" I was so scared. "Don't keep doing this to yourself over that man. He's not worth it. Claire, let's go home. You still have me." His voice broke with tears, but Claire shoved him away hard. "Get lost. He's my husband. He's the only one I want. What am I supposed to do with you, the other man?" Something in her words broke Harry. He froze. Disbelief etched across his face. That was the last time I ever saw either of them. Later, I heard Claire had fired Harry and even sued him to recover every cent she had ever spent on him. He left town in bitterness and rage, never expecting her to turn so ruthless. 3 months later, the police called me. They needed me to identify a body. A murder had taken place in the villa I used to own. The deceased were my ex-wife and Harry. Claire had no parents, no family. The only person left who had ever been close to her was me. Hearing the news, I felt a flicker of shock, followed by a strange sense of inevitability. Still, I went and handled her final affairs in the end. I scattered her ashes into the mountains and the sea, leaving no trace of her behind.